trillions will flow into cryptos like Stellar XLM and Zioncoins will benefit. Now, how am I deriving at this? And what am I talking about? Well, before that, please like, please subscribe. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm and I can keep delivering content like this to you more frequently. Now, with that aside, we need to look at the charts again today and see if there's any changes, like the Dixie, like money velocity. And how is that going to affect Stellar XLM? What can we expect from this? Well, if you don't know already, if you haven't been watching my previous videos, I dive into the charts. I talk about the fundamentals in the crypto market, namely Stellar XLM. But today, more and more people are realizing that actually money velocity is starting to move up. It's been moving along sideways for a period of time now, but it's actually just created a new swing high. What could that mean? What could it mean for our economy? What does it mean for our economy? Well, when you think about money velocity, we really need to think about what that means. The M2V, money velocity, basically means the amount of money that's being spent in a particular economy. So, in theory, if more and more money is being spent, then we should start to see the chart move up, right? In theory, yeah? And that could indicate to us that consumers and businesses in an economy like the US are beginning to spend more and more money. It could mean that, could mean that when you relate it to inflation, that actually, yeah, they're spending more and more money because things cost more and more. But then you have to think to yourself, well, okay, things cost more and more, but are they actually spending more and more money? Because they could just be buying less of something instead of actually spending more money, and that thing that they're buying costs more, right? Like fuel. So potentially this is where we're going in terms of why consumers are spending more and more money. Fuel prices are so high right now, especially in the US. Over here in the UK, fuel prices are still relatively quite high right now. We peaked, we've come down about a 16th of the price a few weeks ago, I want to say a month ago, and really they're still quite high. Now, when we look at this money velocity chart, we'll be able to tell what's happening. So, let's look at the chart. Nathan, please, money velocity chart.
So that, Nathan, yes. So money velocity, the rate at which money is being spent in a particular economy. So we can see clearly here that we've got an uptick right here, and it's a new swing high, as you suggested. Since COVID times, money velocity has slowly moved up. What could this mean? Well, when we look at CPI data and we look at inflation, we have to think about where the money is being spent in the economy, what people are spending their money on. I don't think it's goods and services. It is a particular good and it is a particular service. And I think that's more than likely to be in relation to fuel, because fuel prices have gone through the roof. They've never been so high before for some nations. Certainly here in the UK, they've come down slightly, but in the US, fuel prices are crazy high. And this could be why money velocity is making a new swing high. Or it could be that actually money is flowing into the system, and as a result, people are getting paid more. therefore spending more? I think that scenario's probably a bit more less likely, but it's definitely a potential. However, is jump over to the 10-year yield and see what's happened with the 10-year yield. As you could see, the 10-year yield has dropped, and it was at a new swing high, and now you can see it's actually come down quite a bit. I believe around 40 basis point. We were up there at around 4%, just over 4%. And now, as you could see, if I use the tool, we're going to do the math. It's come down 11.3% since that point. So clearly, we've got this 40 basis point drop, which is, I guess, good in some ways. It has slowly risen back up, but this could mean that now stocks should be moving up, and we could see that clearly, that stocks are actually, in fact, starting to put on some gains. So yeah, certainly some stocks are starting to put on some gains. So you've got 2% on Atlanta Group, AT&T 1.9%, 3.28% on IBM, Copper 2.4%, Western Union. So we know money's moving around the world with Western Union. You got 4.41%, BP 3.9%. So you can see clearly that stocks are moving up. The value of stocks is going higher against the relative strength of the dollar, the Dixie. So my thoughts on that is that potentially all these nations around the world working together collectively, buying up bonds, is in fact reducing the 10-year yield, and as a result the stock market is chuffed by this and have put on nice gains. Cryptos are about flat at the moment, but I'd expect if these gains continue to happen, then we can see cryptos start to put on gains. So we need to look at Bitcoin in specific. Bitcoin again back up at 20,000, and it's holding that range quite nicely. So in that, Nathan, back over to you.
Okay, that's great, Nathan. Thanks for that. That's spot on. So let's think about it. The Dixie is coming down. The 10-year yield is coming down 40 basis points. It hasn't done so. This is new records. Governments around the world are switching back on the printing machines. QE is coming back into effect. The ECB admitted they've got unlimited tools, meaning that they are going to print into oblivion if they need to, and they do not care about inflation. The UK care about inflation, but they're going to print anyway and just U-turn all over the place to satisfy the press on whatever minor changes that they make to the taxes that don't really have any effect. And really what we need to understand is, how does this work in relation to cryptos? We have to look at the stock market. We understand the drivers, the 10-year yield, the Dixie being the dollar being the reserve currency of the world currently as it stands. We understand these drivers and what it means to the stock market. Well, there's absolute confluence between the Dow Jones stock market and Bitcoin. And, technical analysts have proven this theory. Some are at loggerheads as to Is it actually more correlated with the stock market, or is it actually more correlated with the 4-year halving of Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin really is the driver of the crypto markets. And we believe that the Dow Jones is the driver of Bitcoin. Maybe wrong, it's just a theory, but the charts tell the story. So in any case, if that's the case, the Dixie comes down because the yields, the bonds are being brought up and the rates are coming down. The stock market should move up. We see clear evidence that the stock market has started to move back up. Stocks are moving back up 4%, 5% at a time. So this should have a knock-on effect with Bitcoin. Bitcoin will have a knock-on effect with Stellar. I think we're at a point now where governments don't care about inflation. They need to keep printing, as Ray Dalio suggested, to get out of this period of stagflation. You know, it's a case of really governments around the world having to U-turn. They want to have a strong economy, but know that they need to keep printing because fiat currencies are debt-based units, and if you don't keep feeding these debt-based units into the system, the economy collapses. It's quite simple. Yes, we fall into a deep, dark, horrible depression, and no government around the world is going to want to do that, not intentionally, because they want to be re-elected. And that's what's happening, and that's why it's highly likely that Stellar XLM has found the floor and it's time to start moving up. In any case, I'm Nathan, aka Nathan of Zion. Smash the Zion coin up there, like and subscribe, and check out the next video. It will be on Stellar XLM. Have a great day. Take care now.